What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Wrestle Rant Studios. I'm coming down from the top rope with a Macho Man elbow, giving you some updates on a story about Seth Rollins that happened years ago that got an update on the Logan Paul podcast Impulsive.
Give me the hell yeah!
Best there is, best there was, best there ever will be.
Seth Rollins, I believe it was a couple years back at this point, was at, I believe, a taping of Raw, and as he was making his way back after a match, he was ambushed by a pretty large fellow who basically Goldberg speared him. And I always wondered what happened with that. It honestly took a while for security to get there, which was weird. The ref that was there helped out a lot. Was kicking the guy's head, and Seth was doing his best to kind of get this guy in a headlock. But this was a big dude. Looked like he was definitely 200 pounds plus. And I always wondered why that happened. A lot of people thought it was fake because, you know, people can't separate reality and real life. I mean, and fake. So Seth went on the podcast and said that this guy actually was being catfished as somebody who was posing to be Seth Rollins. Now, what I'm guessing happened here, because he didn't go into too much detail besides saying he was owed money, was I'm guessing somebody reached out on a fake Seth Rollins account to a bunch of different people and a bunch of wrestling fans, and they probably targeted certain types of people who they felt like were more gullible, and was saying, hey, it's Seth Rollins, you know, I need some money, I see that you're a fan of mine. And then this fan sent Seth Rollins, or who he thought was Seth Rollins. Obviously it wasn't Seth Rollins. A wrestler, unless it's Virgil, is never going to ask you for money, especially somebody like Seth Rollins, but sent apparently this person money. Obviously it was a scam. I'm sure it was promised some things or this and that and probably got blocked. And I'm sure tried to reach out to the real Seth Rollins, but obviously Seth Rollins is not going to see any real messages like that. So took it into his own hands and literally tried to beat up Seth Rollins. I mean, was so enraged. Now, the thing that I was confused about was where was security at? Because he looked like he jumped a barrier about 20, I'd say probably 50 to 60 feet up on the left of the ramp, the entrance ramp. Was able to do a full turnaround run and then do like a full sprint into Seth. It wasn't like he jumped a rail and had a couple feet to do something. He had a full sprint. And I was surprised even when this happened that security was not ready for that, because that is the point of them being there. Seth also went on to say that, you know, the guy was big and he, you know, had a hold of Seth's hair, was pulling his hair and, you know, was kind of gauging at him. And then Seth Rollins literally grabbed him by the balls. And I'll tell you what, no matter what happens, no matter who you are, if you get grabbed in that area as a guy, we do know it does not feel great. And basically grabbed on there and held on because, you know, in that moment, you don't know what is going to happen, especially how crazy people are these days. It's a blessing that that guy didn't have a weapon, didn't have a knife or something. I mean, because he could have really did some severe damage to Seth. Now, luckily, Seth is a bigger guy in great shape. It didn't do anything. But, you know, let's just say one of this a fan like that ran into Alexa Bliss like that. I mean, that could have knocked her out with the amount of force and the size. And it just goes to show that, you know, real life has gotten so scary lately because there's so many scams and things out there that people believe, you know, or catfishes or just people trying to take advantage of others, and then it ends up getting somebody else involved that has no clue. Seth Rollins had no involvement in this besides being impostered on, and I just found it crazy though that it all happened because of a catfishing scheme. I just figured it was a fan who it would have got, you know, came out that, you know, he was upset and, you know, maybe had some issues and was just upset that Seth Rollins beat his favorite wrestler and, you know, couldn't separate the reality from it and took it into his own hands. You know, that's happened in some indie shows. There was actually one not too long ago where I believe almost like a 17 or 18-year-old kid dressed as Spider-Man, a big dude, came into the ring and legit F5'd or did some sort of crazy suplex on one of the females and really slammed her hard, and it was a real scary moment. And I've been seeing more and more moments where fans who cannot separate things feel like they are entitled to go into that ring, and I've just never understood that. You know, if you're watching a movie, you're not going, and you see Samuel L. Jackson, you're not going to be like, you're a terrible person for what you did in the Avengers or whatever. It's like, so it's interesting that wrestling has this stigma where everyone says it's fake, but yet there are people who believe it so much that they are willing to put their bodies and life on the line for nothing. And I'm glad that Seth Rollins is okay, but I do believe security should be a little tighter. I'm sure that they've maybe done a little more work to tighten that up a bit, but you know, this could have been a story that was way bigger than it was. WWE swept it under the rug. They were removing a lot of videos, I remember back when it happened, and now we get the truth of what happened, and Seth obviously handled it like a pro and you know, did his thing. But there was even an instance, if you remember years ago, where somebody came in the ring trying to attack Stone Cold Steve Austin. This was probably like 1996, 7, 8, around that time. And Triple H was in the ring, and Triple H beat the hell out of the guy. And then Stone Cold said and when he saw the guy in the back, he let him have it verbally. But it's just crazy that this continues to happen even 20 plus years later. And it's something that I hope doesn't happen again, because it's scary every time it happens, and I really hope that the security does a better job. But crazy stuff. Thank God Seth is okay, and it's interesting to hear the truth on why this happened. So fans, stay out of the ring, stay out of the way of wrestlers. If you are a fan, that is what you're supposed to be, a fan. Okay, you're not. If you're at a baseball game, you're not running on the field tackling baseball players. Don't do that to wrestlers. You'll end up getting your ass beat. So that is it. If you guys are enjoying the content on this channel, we post almost every single day on here, so make sure to like if you haven't. Maybe you forgot, that's okay. And if you're not subscribed, we're trying to hit that 1,000 subscriber mark so we can get partnered on here. And you know, we're getting there. It's a grind, so if you could throw us a bone and subscribe, we'd appreciate it. Here at WrestleRant Studios, Pete and I work hard to, you know, bring you guys some entertaining content and, you know, just talk real opinions, not a lot of cuts, not a lot of edits. The goal is to make this a real raw, authentic channel. And I think you guys are seeming to enjoy it. So keep coming around. We'll keep making videos. I'll see you guys very soon. This is Ryan for WrestleRant Studios saying, ooh yeah. Goodbye, everybody.
Give me the hell yeah!
Best there is,